I'm sure that's how it is someplace.
This is my audience.
Hi guys. So I'm gonna begin with a little cooking story. I was cooking my grandma's homemade chicken noodle soup for the first time. And you gotta cook a whole chicken. You gotta make sure, boil it till the meat falls off the bone. And so once it was done, I was like, okay, I gotta get it out of the pan. And I decided to just try and take a fork, stab it inside, pull it out. Nope. Fell on the floor, burned me, like it was falling all over the place. And some of it went back in the pan. And so I was like, okay, what can I do to get the rest of it out? And so I tried to take 2 forks and do the same thing, and it was just kind of a mess. But so today I'm going to tell you some tools to have in the kitchen so you don't end up with a mess like I did. Elliot Chang from Inhabitat.com lists 6 essential things to have in the kitchen to enhance your cooking skills, but I just narrowed it down to 3 specific things. So I have not always been a proficient cook. I mean, I've had to do a lot of practice, YouTube videos, blogs, but it was all worth it, and I mean, I've just grown a lot in the kitchen by leaps and bounds with those things. I also love chef's documentaries and articles, and just, yeah, I've learned a lot from all of those things. Okay. All right, whether you're a beginner or an advanced cook, I just think these 3 items will enhance your cooking experience, and I just think having the right tools gives you better confidence, gives you a better desire to want to do, and be better at something. And those 3 items are tongs, spices, and a chef's knife and cutting board. Which I realize chef's knife and cutting board is 2 different things, but they're kind of one and the same in my thinking. So we'll begin with tongs. It seems like such a simple thing, but Naomi Yoon from foodhacks.com labels tongs as the most underrated utensil in the kitchen. Basically, back to my chicken story, instead of trying to take all these different kinds of utensils and grab a chicken that's falling apart out of a pan, you could take tongs and go through the chest cavity of the chicken and grab its bones and get it out without burning yourself or making a huge mess. So that saved me a lot when I learned I could do that. Also bacon. So I used a fork for a long time to flip bacon. It takes so long. It's very meticulous, and you gotta lay it right. And tongs, it was just like boom, boom, boom. Flip it over, it's good. And you end up with a lot less grease burns too, so that's really helpful. So moving on to a more flavorful item, spices. Oh my gosh, I just recommend all of them. But it does take a long time to build up a spice cabinet. So Julia Walsh from mydomain.com lists 23 essential spices, but I would just start with basics. Kosher salt, pepper grinder with peppercorns, and just like some herbs, dried herbs, because it's easier to have dried herbs. They last longer than getting fresh all the time. And it's just amazing what even these basic spices can do for any meal. I mean, even taking ramen noodles, like, for instance, and just putting some garlic powder in it makes it totally different. And I just highly recommend kosher salt because it's less, oh my gosh, what's that word? It's less processed, and so you can actually use less and it still gives you the same flavor as table salt. Now, onto the more dangerous item. Chef's knife and cutting board. I recommend getting a wooden cutting board because it actually dulls your blade to use plastic or glass cutting boards quicker. So you have to sharpen your knife all the time. So wooden is just all around a lot better. And there's a lot, like, kind of, I guess, the same cleaning habits, but as plastic. And then with the knife, oh my gosh, chef's knife is saves so much time in the kitchen when you have a nice sharp chef's knife for meat, bone, cutting through bone, any weird vegetable you're trying to cut up. It just is so fast and easy. So yeah, I will come to my conclusion. Having tongs, spices, and a chef's knife and cutting board just will improve your kitchen experience a lot more. I love to eat. I'm sure you do too. But cooking does take a time to develop and a lot of practice, a lot of mistakes. Learn from your failures. But for guys, it's a good way to impress a girl. I dated a chef, and that person was definitely a lot better looking after I found that out. And for girls, best way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So there you go. Thanks for listening.